Peace. All of us are called to peace. Peace with our neighbors, even peace with our enemies, peace with our friends, peace everywhere. We are called to peace. In order to keep peace, many times you have to back up. Now, if you know that God positively told you something, positively, there's no way you could doubt it. You've been through it with God for 50 years. He's spoken always the same way. And you know that what someone is saying to you is wrong. Therefore, you can't back up. But when you have your flesh and your opinions, you can do what the disciples did with Jesus and say, Lord, is it I? Am I the one that is standing in the need of prayer? And expect God to give you an answer. Expect God to be able to say to you yes or no and show you what direction to go, because direction is very, very important. Instructions are very, very important. There's times in your life, in your home, that you need to keep the peace. So you don't discuss certain things that you know they trigger this and they trigger that. And if you are wise, you'll just say, well, let's not go there. Just right now, let's keep peace between us. Because when you are emotionally tied, when you are emotionally upset with someone, you can't see clearly. You can't even hear God. You can't hear clearly. One of the things that really blinds your eyes is emotional stress. And emotional stress doesn't come from strangers. A million strangers can curse you and it not bother you a bit because they're strangers. They don't know you and you don't know them. But someone that you really care about, when they find fault with you or they pick on you or they accuse you unwisely and when you're innocent, now those people you can allow to hurt your feelings. And if you have wisdom, you learn how to control your feelings. You learn how to bring your emotions into subjection and make God and peace in your life more important than being right, more important than thinking that you know everything, more important as to whether he has God or she has God or you have God. That the most important thing is, for the sake of your children, for the sake of your home, for the sake of your relationships, is keep the peace. God will make an opportunity if you turn away from it now, at the moment that the triggers are just shooting off. If you make it for the sake of God, because God says that the ministry of the gospel need be not blamed for anything. So if you make it so you back up for the Lord and you back up and say, well, perhaps maybe I need to search this out again, or maybe I need to pray again. And if you find out, don't be so anxious to run and tell it. If you find out that you're right, don't be anxious to go up to them and say, see, I was always right. That's a bad attitude. Because you don't need anybody to know that you are right. You don't need to be right that much that you can swing it as a club over someone else's head. Because God's looking at the whole situation. He's watching the whole thing come to pass. And he's not well pleased with those who think being right is the exalted thing. You know, I told a young lady not too long ago, she says, when my brother swears, it just rips through me. It cuts through me. I can't bear it. I get so upset. I have to let him know that don't do this. Now, Over and over for years, she has reacted this way. She has told him, and nothing happened. He never changed. All he ever did was it triggered his hatred. It triggered everything to make him positive she's dead wrong. If she would have been wise, she would have backed up and just let him go, let him rip. You let your enemy or the person that you love do whatever and say whatever they're going to do because it brings no harm to your relationship with God. You let it go. You leave it in the hands of God. That's how you take care of it. That is how you understand what to do. Instead of, oh my goodness, you could go through so much turmoil and do that to yourself. And it's practically like torturing yourself, beating on yourself. I just can't bear to hear this and hear that. Well, you know what? It's all over the world. It's in almost every relationship. And taking a fit over it has never changed a thing. Taking a fit over it has never caused anyone to stop. The thing is it just upsets you and upsets them more, and then they can't really hear you. Now, when they open up their mouth, it's because of them they can't hear you. But when you open up your mouth, then it's because of you they can't hear you. Be wise as a serpent and as harmless as a dove. And I bring you peace, not as the world gives peace, but as I give peace. Oh, to have the peace of God when you know you could sit there and say you have the peace of God and you could react, well, keep your mouth shut and back up. See, Lord, I'm obedient. I'm doing everything that's right. And look at them. They're really doing wrong. They're going to have to answer to you. That's not obeying God's will. Really, it isn't. Because when you back up, you have to say, Lord, is it me standing in the need of prayer? Am I the one that's wrong here? If I am, please reveal it to me that I may do it right. Because you and I and everyone else cannot afford one mistake with someone that Jesus Christ paid such a great price with his own body and blood. We can't afford it. If we're not praying, Lord, help me to get this right. Help me to do this right. Help me to make sure I don't hurt anybody uncalled for. Help me to make sure I don't puff myself up and make myself something I am not. This is how you keep peace. You keep peace in your mind, knowing that you're doing the right thing, not knowing they're going to answer, they're going to pay, they're wrong, and you're right. That's not filling yourself up with God. That's filling yourself up with you. Filling yourself up with God is, Lord, right or wrong, that doesn't matter. What matters is I do the right thing with them right now. I say the right thing to help them right now. And if being still and knowing you are God is the way to do it, then I will do it. For I have made up my mind that I will follow Jesus at any cost. So help me, Lord, to die to what I think and feel and go on. Be kind, be sweet. Put aside doctrines, put aside baptisms, put aside among yourself, put aside things that, like Paul the Apostle said, this we will do. But you need to go into the greater things. The greater things are you doing God's will. The greater things are keeping your heart right with God, making sure you are offending no one. Because you see, if you obey everything and you don't have love inside of you and you offend somebody deliberately, what have you? You become tinkling brass. So you fight to say, I'm the head of the house. I'm the one that understands. You should submit. And she says, I'm the one that understands the word. You have no relationship with God. I'm the one that understands. Where are you? You're at a standstill. She hinders you and you hinder her. And the cost is the children. A husband of contention, we have no such custom. You do not fight to be right. You do not fight to have what you think is right. The fight for righteousness is not fighting for your righteousness. It is overcoming evil with good. Been through it 1,000,000 times. And each time the Lord had me choose his way and not my way. And therefore I can have peace and joy and contentment that he will take care of all these other things if I obey him on this one thing. If I obey him and keep peace. Because when they see peace, they know that it's connected to love. You see, love, peace, joy, long-suffering, all of those things, patience, kindness, all of those things are fruits of the Spirit, and they have to grow. And if you don't ever use them because you're so busy fighting, waking up to the truth and see things as they are, not as you want to make them. Do not repay evil for evil. Do good. Bless those that persecute you, and pray for those that despitefully use you, that you may be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect when you forgive. Oh, says, how many times should I forgive? He says, well, 77 times 7. In one day, that's a lot. He didn't say 77 times 7 in a year. He was talking about living one day at a time. So that means it's, and then some. You forgive more because he knows in relationships you need that to be able to forgive over and over. And the only way you can do that is look beyond their faults and see their needs and get your eyes off of their faults and do something about yours in the name of Jesus. That's the only way.